If you're traveling to Washington, D.C., there's a decent chance you may wind up here at Union Station. So let me help you navigate it. Hello, my name is Rob. I'm a tour guide and the founder of Trip Hacks DC Tours. I created this YouTube channel to give travelers my best tips, tricks, and travel hacks for exploring Washington, D.C. So if that sounds like you, make sure to subscribe to the channel and then check out the huge library of videos on this channel. One of my most popular videos is about navigating Washington, D.C.'s 3 airports. But not everybody who travels here arrives on an airplane. So if you're taking a train, a bus, or driving your own car, there is a decent chance you will wind up here at Union Station. In this video, I'm going to explain the layout of the station, talk about a few good places to eat if you're hungry, and transportation options to get you to your hotel or final destination. So with that said, let's get started. Union Station has access from both the north and the south, but a vast majority of people enter from the south, the main entrance. The first space you encounter is this one, the Great Hall or the Grand Lobby. Historically, this was the waiting area, with seating for folks waiting to catch their trains. Unfortunately, the seating has all been removed. So the Great Hall is now a big empty space. A beautiful space, but empty nonetheless. Some people do stop for a photo or to admire the architecture, but most are just passing through. The next space you'll encounter is the Amtrak ticketing area. When Union Station first opened, this was actually the train boarding area. Trains would pull all the way up into this area and then people would board. But in the 1980s, after the creation of Amtrak, the station was remodeled and trains no longer pull all the way up here. The space behind the ticketing area is the Amtrak boarding area. And despite the name, it's also used by MARC trains going to Maryland and VRE trains going to Virginia. So if you've watched my video about taking the MARC train to or from BWI Airport, this is where you would catch it. If you're traveling by train, once it's time to board, you will then go outside to the track area, find the track that your train is on, and board from there. Okay, but what if you're traveling in by bus or car? In that case, you'll find everything that you need in the garage. The garage is actually directly above the track area. Once you get up there, the first area you will encounter is the Union Station bus terminal. Most, but not all, bus companies that service Washington, D.C. use Union Station. Here you'll find bus companies like Washington Deluxe, Best Bus, Peter Pan, Greyhound, and Megabus. I'll be honest, this area of Union Station is not particularly nice. That said, if you've ever been to a Greyhound bus station in pretty much any American city, this probably doesn't come as a surprise. If you're driving to DC, you'll park your car one more level up in the garage. Union Station is my top recommended area to park because the rate is pretty reasonable, the garage is open 24/7, and it's relatively close to downtown. Qualities which are not true of all garages in DC. When you're ready to head home, you'll pay at one of these machines, then take your ticket back to your vehicle and use that to be on your way. Now, let's talk about what there is to eat. There are plenty of food options at Union Station, as there should be at any big transportation hub. When you're traveling, a lot of times you just don't have time to stop off for a proper meal. And eating at the airport or train station is just more convenient. I get it. That said, I would not go out of my way to eat at Union Station. There's really nothing here you can't find elsewhere in DC. On the lower level of the building, you'll find the big food court. This area has most of your standard fast food. There's Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, Taco Bell, Dunkin' Donuts, and a few others. There's also a giant Walgreens down here, which actually can be kind of convenient, especially if you forgot to pack a toothbrush or something else that you can run in and pick up. Historically, this is one of the most popular food courts for 8th graders on a field trip. And now that field trips are back, you'll find these guys here again. So unless you are in 8th grade yourself or chaperoning a whole bunch of them, I wouldn't come down to this food court. Instead, the better food options are on the main level of the station, specifically in the west wing off of the Great Hall. Here, you'll find a lot of my favorite fast casual spots, like Shake Shack, chopped salads, and kava. Now, if you need coffee for your trip, you have options. This Starbucks is by far the most popular coffee spot, but it can get absolutely mobbed, especially right before a train is about to depart. My personal favorite spot for coffee is Pret, which finally reopened after being closed for 2 years because of COVID. And if you like bougie coffee, Blue Bottle is here as well, right off of the Great Hall. Yes, it's expensive, but it also doesn't typically have the huge lines like at Starbucks. Now, let's talk about local transportation. Union Station is on the Metro, but only the Red Line. You can get to the Metro station from the track area if you're arriving by train by following the signs, or off of the Great Hall by walking past the fast casual restaurants and out the door. If your final destination is on the Red Line, this can be a good option. Union Station is also just a few blocks north of the Capitol building. So if your final destination is within vicinity of the Capitol building, it might be possible to walk there. Or if you're traveling without a bunch of luggage, there is a huge Capitol bike share station on the east side of the building. If you're staying in the city, a cab might be your best choice. There are usually plenty of cabs at Union Station. If you do want to catch a cab, you have to go in the official taxi stand line, and then a dispatcher will assign you to a car. But what about Uber and Lyft? I personally find Uber and Lyft to be kind of a nightmare at Union Station. It's very hard to hook up with your driver at the station. They get stuck in traffic and it takes forever for them to get to you. So in general, when I arrive at Union Station, if I'm not taking Metro, I stick to a regular cab. Now, I want to address some things about Union Station, because I've heard quite a few very negative comments about this place over the last couple of years. Union Station was undoubtedly one of the hardest hit areas of the city during COVID, if not the hardest hit area of the city. You have to appreciate that in the before times, it wasn't just people traveling through here who were going on vacation. It was business travelers coming in for a business trip. It was suburban commuters taking the train in from Maryland or Virginia to their downtown office. It was the 13-year-olds on field trips who, love 'em or hate 'em, did spend a chunk of money here. In March 2020, Union Station went from having 100,000 people, a small city, pass through every single day, to basically none. And if you've been paying attention, you've seen lots of people behind me passing through the Great Hall and traveling through the station again. Because travel is coming back. Field trip groups are coming back. But there were some dark days for Union Station in 2020 and 2021. And a place like this isn't just going to recover overnight. I have hope that it'll happen, but it will require some patience. And if you're coming to DC and interested in signing up for a TripHacks DC guided tour, you can click or tap on the Capitol Dome on the left side of my head. That'll send you right over to triphacksdc.com, where you can see all of the tours that we offer. Enjoy your trip.